In this episode, we're going to look at a woman whose voice gives me chills every time I hear it. Incredible interpreter of other people's songs, and she's written her own songs. What an amazing talent. She's had 7 decades in the business. She has recorded 36 studio albums, 9 live albums, 4 holiday albums, and a whole bunch of singles. Besides having a great voice and touring all over the world, she was the muse of one of the most popular songs in the late 60s, early 70s. And it was all because of the color of her eyes. Do you remember? Doo-doo-doo-doot, doot-doot-doot-doot-doot. Yeah, let's find out more about Judy Collins. Let's drop the needle. Judith Marjorie Collins was born in 1939 in Seattle, but then her family moved to Denver. And when she was age 13, she played her first public performance, playing Mozart on the piano. However, she soon gravitated to the folk music of people like Pete Seeger and Woody Guthrie, and she taught herself to play guitar. And she performed on guitar the first time when she was 16. She got married in 1958 and moved with her husband to Connecticut, where he taught at a university. And this union produced her only son, Clark C. Taylor, who sadly died of suicide when he was only 33. So she's in Connecticut, and the folk scene is exploding down in Greenwich Village. So she goes down there and starts playing in the clubs, and that's where she caught the attention of Elektra Records, who signed her, and she recorded for them for over 35 years. At the age of 21, she records her first album, A Maid of Constant Sorrow. It's an album of traditional folk songs. Check out the title, Maid of Constant Sorrow, Wild Mountain Thyme, Sailor's Life, and John Riley. It sold modestly, but it did establish Judy Collins on the folk music scene, and she quickly followed it up with 3 similar folk albums released from 1962 to 1965. In 1962, she releases Golden Apples of the Sun. I like the title track, and Tell Me Who I'll Marry, and the great Shoonaroon. 1963 sees her release her 3rd album, Judy Collins 3. And interestingly enough, her arranger is also a musician who plays guitar and banjo on the record. And his name is Jim Roger McGuinn before he founded the Byrds. For the first time, Judy covers Bob Dylan songs with Farewell and Masters of War. And foreshadowing the Byrds, with McGuinn's help I'm sure, she also covers The Bells of Rhymney and Turn, Turn, Turn. In 1965, she releases her 4th studio album, but it's actually called the 5th album, because in between she released a live album. Here again she covers Dylan songs, Tomorrow is a Long Time, Mr. Tambourine Man, and even changes the title and the lyrics to one of his songs so she can make it Daddy, You've Been on My Mind. The album also has the great Gordon Lightfoot song, Early Morning Rain. In 1966, Judy Collins decides maybe she'll change her musical direction a little bit. And instead of just doing a straight folk album, she's going to add an orchestra. And she's going to title this album In My Life. Standouts on this album are the lead-off, Bob Dylan's Tom Thumb's Blues, Leonard Cohen's Haunting Suzanne, Randy Newman's I Think It's Gonna Rain Today, Donovan's Sonny Goodstreet. And then, of course, there's Judy's cover, which was the title of the album, The Beatles' lovely In My Life. The album charts for Judy at number 46, but it's her next album, released in 1967, called Wildflowers, that catapults her to stardom and produces her first top 10 hit. The album starts off with Joni Mitchell's Michael from Mountains, and also includes the big hit, which was also written by Mitchell, but it was a hit for Judy, Both Sides Now, for which she won a Grammy. This record also includes 3 songs written by Judy, which is the first time she has recorded any of her own compositions. They are Since You Ask, Skyfell, and Albatross. And moving up the charts, this one charts at number 5. Following on the success of Wildflowers, the next year she releases Who Knows Where the Time Goes. Besides the great title, I like Someday Soon, Bob Dylan's I Pity the Poor Immigrant, and Cohen's Bird on a Wire. Now, interestingly enough, Stephen Stills makes an appearance on this album playing electric guitar, acoustic guitar, and bass. And he and Judy hit it off. So they start into a romantic relationship, and she becomes the muse for Stephen's incredible song, which I talked about at the start of the episode. And it was all based on the color of Judy's eyes. It was Suite Judy Blue Eyes. Now, the story of the song is that Stephen actually had 3 snippets of a song, and he thought, well, they were kind of different, but if he sticks them all together, he can call it a suite, hence Suite Judy Blue Eyes. Now, in an earlier episode, I talk about this, the one that's about Stephen Stills, I talk about this, and I direct you to listen to the album called Just Roll Tape, where we have the song Suite Judy Blue Eyes, but Stephen is playing it on his guitar as a demo. Now, the story goes that when he first played the song for Judy, both of them wept. And Judy said to him, Stephen, it's beautiful, but I'm not coming back to you. Because by that point, their relationship had broken up. That was the romantic relationship. They stayed friends for the rest of their life. In 1970, Judy releases the amazing album Whales and Nightingales. This album contains 2 amazing songs. Farewell to Tarthwaite, where Judy is accompanied by the sound of humpback whales singing. It's very cool. And then she made a top 40 hit out of the old gospel song Amazing Grace. And it was such an amazing recording that it's been preserved by the Library of Congress. In 1975, she releases the album called Judith, and it contains her smash hit, Send in the Clowns, which was on the charts for 27 weeks and got her her 2nd Grammy. When Bill Clinton got inaugurated, Judy Collins sang at the inauguration, and she sang Chelsea Morning, which was a Joni Mitchell song. But the reason she sang it was because Clinton's daughter, Chelsea, was named after hearing that song. Judy Collins also appeared on Sesame Street and The Muppet Show. Over the years, she's put out 25 more albums. Here's just a look at a few of them. And then in 2017, Judy and her old friend and old lover, Stephen Stills, combined to release a new album called Everybody Knows. And again, I will direct you to my episode on Stephen Stills where I discuss this in more detail. But Judy's not slowing down. In 2019, at the age of 80, she releases her first #1 album. It's called Winter Stories. And now this year, at 83 years old, she decides to release Spellbound, which is the first album that is containing all original material. Now, that's the first time she's done that in her entire career. What an amazing talent. And yeah, I put on this Hawaiian shirt to honor Judy Collins because it's blue as the color of her eyes. She's got an amazing voice. She's a great interpreter of other people's music. She's toured the world. She's won Grammys. She was the muse for Stephen Stills. What can you say about this talent? Judy, thank you for the music and the memories. And to quote one of your songs, who knows where the time goes? But I'm glad that we all get to spend it with you. Thanks for watching, folks, and keep a rockin'. If you liked this episode, hit the like button, and you can also leave me a comment down below, and I'll respond to you. If you subscribe, we'll let you know when future episodes come out.